about this particular agenda item. You've heard from, I think, 4 administrators. We do have new standards. We do have new curriculum. We do have new assessments. So I think, it's just got to make a decision based on you've heard the public. They've shared their thoughts. You've heard the administrators. You've heard their thoughts. I think some of them have reached out to you, perhaps. We had worked with Carnegie last year. The results from that experience, I think, has been very positive. That's the reason we're even moving forward this year from what we had heard from last year, even though it's a little different than what happened last year, expanded for sure. So, anyway.
When will our math scores be out?
Probably the end of June is what I would expect to see.
Is there a way that I could just see how much a difference it made at Hillgastat this year?
Not at this point in time, because there would be no data to look at. They might give us some more information this week at VADS and FASFA, but I would expect the end of June when I was with Vince Vargas last week from Assessment and Accountability.
Yeah, that's where I kind of wish that we would have included the other. I was told Avon Park Middle did want to do it. So.
She did. And
Oh, yeah, and
well, I mean, she would have welcomed it this last year.
Oh, I see.
Oh, yeah.
If she'd been given the opportunity.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure she would.
So,
Do we have to decide now, or can we wait till the scores come out?
Well, we have to remember, too, that Hillgastat only had it for,
Since January.
yes, it's January.
Right.
So I don't know how much. I respect everything that the public said, but I also respect what the principals are asking.
what are the 5 schools?
In Park Middle, in Park High, Hillgastat,
Lake Placid
Lake
Middle,
Placid Middle, and Sebring
School.
High is the 5. And Lake Placid Middle, you definitely doing that? Because you said you may do it. I didn't know where you stood at that.
Well, he lost some of his math.
Well, I
teachers.
thought that you spoke on.
He was saying that the way he might implement would be
So
different.
quantifiably,
Yeah.
I know my staff gets tired of hearing saying it, my colleagues get tired of it, but quantifiably, if we go up 4%, if we can go up 4% quantifiably, the next year another 4%, no one's going to be able to say that after 3 years that you went up 12%. It's something that it's a philosophy of mine. 3 weeks ago, my staff was completely full with my math teachers, math coach. I shared a math coach with Lake Placid High School. Great opportunity for us. She had the chance to be full-time at her school. Left me with a math coach opening. 2 of my math teachers advanced their career. One is going to teach Algebra 2 because Mr. Whitney retired after 25 years. And one of them is going to go be a teacher at a private school with 12 fourth graders in her room. 3 weeks ago, I had no openings. None. Zero. Now I have 2 openings and no math coach. On paper, I have a math coach, but again, in a couple of weeks, she's probably going to be in a classroom. I didn't lose teachers to other middle schools. I didn't lose teachers to teach the same subject at a different high school. I lost them for career opportunities, and I'm okay with that. I am definitely okay with that. I have a phenomenal staff I would put against anybody. We've talked about new teachers. That's great, but we also need to talk about some of our veteran teachers, because our veteran teachers are also pulling 45% proficiency in math. There has to be that hard conversation with our veteran teachers. We're telling the community that 45% is good enough. So we need to train some of our veteran teachers too that have been doing it for 15 years the same way. Have you taught 15 years or have you taught 1 year 15 times? And that's a conversation that Carnegie is able to bring to us. I have an allocation for a math coach. If I have it filled right now, ultimately that person's going to be in the classroom, and if the board approves the Carnegie, I don't necessarily have to pay for a math coach out of my allocations that I could fill later on to train that math coach later. It basically gives me a free math resource on my campus, free for me. The school board's going to pay for it out of the whatever funds it's coming from, but when you're looking at what you have to pull from my school, that's a resource for me that I can utilize. And to be honest with you, I'm going to use and abuse. And I'm going to train up my new teachers as well as my 4 veteran math teachers that I have, because we've got to raise scores. I don't care what anyone says. If the scores don't come up 4% this year, maybe I haven't done something from an administrative standpoint, because they've got to come up 4% next year. And I know you guys really want more than 4%, but 4% sustainably for 3 years is 12%, and I'm okay with that. And I really am okay with that. Carnegie, to me, feels like it's going to help me get to that 4%, because I don't have a math coach right now.
I think that's what Hillgastat,
Thank you.
Middle's coach went
Thank
back
you.
in the classroom, and Carnegie helped with being a coach, is what happened at Hillgastat, so we won't,
Are we good with bringing the vote?
Well, we have a motion, right?
Do we have a motion and a second?
Um,
One more comment. Come on.
Thank you.
Okay.
No, I just want to clarify, I was looking through this proposal, and it does mention in here, and what you just said, having your staff trained, but in their proposal, Carnegie is saying that they need to have an instructional coach at each school. Carnegie is going to occasionally talk to these instructional coaches, and it says right here in their, Carnegie has a planning conversation with the instructional coach. Carnegie observes the instructional coach and collects data. The instructional coach has a planning conversation with the teacher. They also collect data, the instructional coach does. The instructional coach has a reflecting conversation with the teacher, and then Carnegie comes back after all of that and reflects with your instructional coach. Who is your instructional coach going to be? That would be the question. You still have to have someone at that school that's going to be an instructional coach to deal with the Carnegie group. They are going to be there 5 schools, 4 days a month, 7 months out of the year. That's $2,500 a day, and you're still going to have somebody else there. I think you need to look through this a little closer as to what you're getting out of it before we go in there and jump in and spend the money. I agree. All our teachers need help. We have a lot of teachers teaching out of field right now, and every one of them needs help. It's not just math. The math teachers need help, our English, they all need help, science. But check this out a little closer before you do and make sure what they're providing. Thank you.
And where Ms. Portis went, they're not gonna be using it. Sebring Middle's not, they're gonna do it.
We ready for vote? Ms. Shoup?
yes.
Mr. Brantley?
Yes.
Ms. Howerton?
No.
Ms. Compton Twist?
No.
Thanks, guys. Chair votes no.
We don't need clapping.
No clapping, sorry. Just let's vote. So that's okay. So we're gonna go to 14B. Approved textbook adoptions from Math K-5 pursuant to